Dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. And I have no clue what job I'm dressed for.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, brought to you by our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and we are live from Studio K. You can see the sign above my shoulder. I never point right where that sign is. Brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Become a member of the Inner Circle today, and I recommend you do it today because it's 40 cents off per gallon today just because you're an Inner Circle member. Download the Circle K app for free. And the Arizona Cardinals play tonight. And I talked fashion, and I have a quote that really just hits home for what tonight's game is. The quote is, "Style is knowing who you are, what you want to say, and not giving a damn." That was Gore Vidal. It's talking about clothing. It's talking about how you look. And tonight, obviously, is the debut of the Cardinals rivalry uniforms. And they're going to look good in them. We all love them because they are a uniform that represents Arizona. Hell, the field is going to look good today with the new logo on it, the end zones painted in the Arizona state flag, which I don't think we've seen since the 90s. I remember that playoff run in the 90s with Jake Plummer and the boys. They had the end zones painted in the state flag back in the Sun Devil Stadium days. We haven't seen that. The field's going to look good. The uniforms are going to look good. But can the team look good? Because style is going to make this fight. And while you're going to look good, be dressed good, and be playing on a surface that looks fire for the Amazon Prime audience, what about the team? Can this offense look as good as they will look clothing-wise? Can they figure it out? James Conner's out. Trey Benson is in as your starting running back, your RB1. You're going to have an offense predicated on Trey McBride, Trey Benson. Then how do you increase what you're doing from pass production? We talked about it earlier in the week. I believe they're 31st in number of targets to wide receivers percentage-wise. 38% of their plays go to their wide receivers. Unacceptable. The checkdowns. Kurt Warner was on PHNX Cardinals yesterday and talked about how that may be just a byproduct of the way that the defenses are playing them and that you're taking what you can get. Okay. But I don't think that's acceptable. Kurt also talked about how he had a gunslinger mentality and that he'd go out there and he accepted that, interceptions actually are just part of the game. That you have to force the defense to think you're willing to take those shots, to make them think, make them be concerned about that. I need to see the aggressiveness tonight from this team. I can't see a mediocre offense that looks like it's ready to roll over and just hope their defense can show up. This isn't a game that you're going to be able to sustain that. You have to look good in all facets of the game tonight. You have to prove that you were primetime ready. There aren't must-wins usually this early, but I think we are at almost a must-win level with this game. You can't fall 0-2 in the division. You can't lose your 8th straight to the Seahawks. You can't, Jonathan Gannon hasn't won a game against the Seahawks yet. You can't have that happen, and you can't get embarrassed on national television. If you fall to 2-2 because you commit the same kind of mistakes, you have the same issues that led you into dangerous situations in those first 2 games and cost you a game against San Francisco, we're going to know exactly who you are. I think, I said it earlier in the week, I think Drew Petzing might be coaching for his job, or at least his right to be the play caller. This entire thing is so so important this evening because eyes are on you for a million reasons. So are you going to show that you have style and substance tonight? Or are you just going to show that you're a bunch of pretty cool jerseys and a cool painted field and nothing else? I think that they're going to show up, but I'm not 100% sure. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We got plenty to talk about in this Cardinals game. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach.
I put on makeup this morning. So
no, you're going to just, okay, you're staying hidden. That's fine. I think it's out of embarrassment because you are a Seahawks fan. I do have the enemy here in the building today. You should see it, too. He's dressed like their mascot today. That's actually why he won't come on camera. He's in full Seahawks regalia. He is well, there's the illusion gone. All right, he's not. He is licking his wounds from a 30-point loss in a rec league game.
That is so nasty of you. That is so nasty.
Oh, hey, you told me right before this.
I contributed to our point total.
Look, you and I are on the opposite sides of things today, and you're just going to have to accept that.
Did you win a rec league game last night?
No.
Then we're not.
See, look, I go with the old rule. You can't win if you don't play. So I don't play because I can't win anyways. But
you can't lose if you don't play.
That's true. You can't. I'm talking about our NFL teams, though. We are on the opposite side tonight. You guys have a distinct advantage. Our friends at Bet365 have you guys as favorites. It was 1.5 the last time I saw it.
I mean, I think that's a fair total or spread. This game is a lot closer than a lot of people think. I think people look at that gaudy 41 to whatever victory over the Saints that Seattle had last week and get worried or start to say this is going to be a bloodbath on Thursday Night Football. First of all, it's a divisional game. Second of all, it's a divisional game on primetime. Third of all, it's a divisional game on primetime on Thursday Night Football. You know how those usually go? We're in for a 13-10 final. Like, it's going to be gross. These teams are going to play hard. The Cardinals are like, look.
I want to shoot out Shane. I don't want that.
That's not going to happen. The 2-0 start was bad. Like, for a 2-0 start, we all understand that, and we know why. The offense has looked sluggish, and you got bit in the ass by it against San Francisco. That being said, even though the defense is banged up, it's been good. I think Trey Benson is serviceable enough to fit in as that backup running back. And look, the offense will start working eventually. It does start clicking. Like Kyler, Kyler is known to have gotten worse in the second half of the season, but last year we didn't really see that. We saw the offense start out slow and then start to get its legs a little bit, and I think that's going to happen again tonight. I don't think the Cardinals are as overmatched as everybody thinks they are.
Traquan McHurdles thinks this is going to be a punch-you-in-the-mouth game, and the Cardinals will squeak it out. I would have thought that with James Conner in the fold because that's what you can do. But Trey Benson isn't a go straight down the middle, run straight into you and grind you down. Like, this offense is now distinctly different too. I get that it's a divisional game. I understand that you're under the bright lights of, hey, we only had 4 days to prep for this and Thursday Night Football. I think the Seahawks are a better team right now, and the Cardinals' offense is going to have to wake up in a big way for them to figure this out.
Yeah, there's no doubting that that Seattle has been better through the first 3 weeks of the season, obviously. But this is, again, it's a divisional game, and they're on the road. Like, yeah, Mike McDonald has had this team's number in his first year, but again, like, there's a reason why the line is 1.5. And the way people are talking about this game, you would think the Seahawks are favored by 8 points. There's a reason why it's damn near a pick 'em.
Yeah, but you know why.
You get
fans in this town have PTSD from all these teams. I understand. I feel it. Because you watch those first 3 weeks and you go, I do not see how you can compete as close as everybody seems to think this is going to be with the way that you've played. I still think you're getting graded on potential. Like the defense is going to have to be that same top 5 defense that gives up next to nothing and finds a way to score points tonight if your offense continues to crap the bed. And I don't think that that's a fair thing to put on this defense, because at some point a defense will have moments where they're not otherworldly, that they're not all pro. And if you have an offense like we're seeing with this Cardinals team and a defense, the other side of the ball, the Seahawks defense has looked really good too. And I am severely concerned about all that. Maybe I'll be surprised and the drops will be gone. You won't have the issues, but you're also going up against a Seahawks offense that has some ability too. I don't see why everybody thinks this is going to be as close as it is, other than the fact that we go, well, it's 3 weeks in. We don't really know who these teams are yet.
Yeah, the only thing I know is you should bet the under on Bet365 at 43.5. Not gambling advice, but
just life advice.
43.5.
I think that's a pretty good bet on the under there, because the Cardinals have only averaged 13.5 points under Jonathan Gannon against the Seahawks. Most they've ever scored is 21.
Say it with me, Espo. Divisional game primetime.
The divisional game primetime.
Divisional game primetime unders.
Do you remember what was it, 6-6 tie between
I was at that game.
Seahawks Cardinals and what was that, Sunday night football?
Yep, I was at that game. It was horrible.
God, if we are destined for that, there is a live watch along that I'm hosting with the Cardinals boys, and if I'm watching a 6-6 overtime tie between these two teams tonight, you are going to see me Hulk out. I will probably flip a chair, scream, maybe break a TV. I'm not prepared for that. But you bring up divisional games being important, and that fact is not lost on the ageless wonder Calais Campbell, who had this to say earlier in the week.
I mean, this division, I feel like it's probably one of the more underrated divisions. Always has been. There's a couple year, run where, any team in the division could make a run, and so I feel like, once again, here we are at a time where, all 4 teams in this division could be playoff teams and potentially make a run even deeper. So, this is definitely a division that, every game is a heavyweight bout. You got to, round for round, probably go down to the last play, just like last week did, but that's football, that's what you love, and to compete, have a chance to be in the fight, that's all we ever ask for.
I hope these young guys are listening to him, because he understands the history of this. It may not feel like much of a rivalry over the last year, the last 3 years, based on the records, but this game against the Seahawks, not just because it's divisional, but because there's history between these two teams and the fights in these NFC West. I hope Calais kind of schooled some of these guys up on it. And I'm going to say this. I guarantee he has 1 sack tonight. Because the way he's playing, the pressure he's able to get on some of these quarterbacks through the first 3 weeks, Sam Darnold will be on his back because of Calais Campbell. And Calais is hyped because gets to play in front of that hometown crowd, gets to play a divisional game with these Cardinals again, gets a shot at these Seahawks in that Cardinal sand and red, which is a weird thing to say, but he'll be wearing at least a little Cardinal red as he does it tonight. There'll be excitement on his end. He's going to need some help, though, in the defensive backfield, because they're going to be short again. Will Johnson is doubtful tonight, which is going to make it an even bigger task because Jackson Smith, I always mispronounce
Njigba.
No,
you're saying the N like an N. It's not Njigba. Jackson Smith and
Njigba.
Njigba.
Ninjago is where I always want to go with it. But yeah, he's second in receiving yards this year behind Puka Nacua.
Just call him
JSN is second in receiving yards behind Puka Nacua this year. He's I don't believe he's had a game under 100 yards this year, or at least in the last 2. He's played extremely well. Sam Darnold is capable of getting him the ball. And you have a defensive backfield that is still hurting, literally and metaphorically. That terrifies me tonight in this game and what they'll be able to do there. So you're going to need Calais, you're going to need Josh Sweat, you're going to need that whole defensive front to be able to get pressure on Sam Darnold. But again, the offense has to find itself. They got good news. Paris Johnson Jr. Is back this week and is going to play, but they have to find themselves. The run game blocking scheme has been atrocious. They've only gotten about 3.8 yards in expected yards per carry this year, which is 28th according to Pro Football Focus. Their blocking grade is. This is not a team that has has blocked well for the run either. And you've got a young guy in Trey Benson in his second year who's now the starting running back, and he's going to have to be RB1 and go out there. Now, his head coach has belief in him, thinks he's going to be able to do it, and thinks they can correct some of that blocking scheme. He had this to say about it.
It's just the instincts of, if you're still behind the line of scrimmage and it's getting late in the down, as I always call it, there's a clock in your head. You got to stick your foot in the ground and get dirty yards and not, look to maybe hit a home run. Defense is closing in on you. So I think he's really done a better job this year of being decisive and putting the ball where it needs to be put. And if there's a guy standing in the hole, so be it. So like I said, I'm looking forward to him running the rock tomorrow.
So basically, this ain't Dancing with the Stars. Hit the hole and don't dance around trying to get extra yards is what Jonathan Gannon's looking for. That's going to be predicated on that offensive line, getting some holes for Trey Benson and creating some space for him. Trey himself, though, is extremely excited about the opportunity, even though it came because of James Conner's injury.
That's all I can really say. Like, on some of the runs, it'll be like just one person, that it was unfortunate, but we one block away every single time, most likely. Okay.
One block away. Can he get him? They need the running game to at least show a pulse here. I don't think that you need the running game to set up the passing game necessarily. I think it may actually be the opposite in this case, but it has to show up this week. It can't be MIA with the passing game being captain check down. Like you need them to show up and be able to run the rock a little bit. It's a lot to ask of a second-year guy, but they were saying they were RB 1A and 1B. He and James Conner, well, now he gets that 1A status, and we'll find out what he can do. His, I believe, his 29-yard run last week is probably the best run we've seen this year out of any Cardinals running back. So there is a little hope, but we need more. We've talked the passing game to death. I need to see Michael Wilson get the ball. The lack of targets to him has been pretty bad. The MHJ needs to hold on to the ball, show what he's made of. We've talked it to death. They need something from the passing game tonight, and I hope we find it, because this defense can give you another stellar performance, but I don't know that they're going to hold somebody to 16 points again. You're going to need to put points on the board this evening. I think you're going to have at least 20 to win this game. I think you're going to have 20. Can you put up 20, 21 points on this team? Jonathan Gannon offense has not done that against the Seahawks since he's been here. Lots of questions, but I do know that I could not be more excited for the rivalry uniforms tonight. I don't know if you saw the field. We talked about it a little bit. It's going to look amazing on TV. These uniforms are going to look spectacular. And I did have a little surprise. I think I might have to get litigious with the NFL and Amazon Prime, though. Last night, scrolling through Twitter, scrolling through Instagram. Cardinals Instagram has one of those really thin videos that have started happening on IG. So I thought, I'll watch it. I'll listen to it. I need a little hype video. I was talking about the uniforms, getting people hyped about them. And my voice was at the very end, talking about how it's Arizona's own uniform finally. And I did not approve this. I did not say that the NFL could use my voice or my likeness. Luckily, they didn't. But I did not allow my voice to be on there. Shane, you are my lawyer, so I'm going to need you to draw up some paperwork. I don't have representation, and we'll get into that in the second half of the program. But yeah, so that caught me off guard. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the uniforms. I know you guys are as well. I want to thank everybody in the chat, the biased in there. Tony telling it like it is. Traquan, Mick Hurdles, Humble Rumble. I saw Bo in there. Shaft, always a pleasure to see you guys. Hit that like button if you're not a member of our supporters club. Get that. And if you are, drop a couple Johnny Chugs, because Johnny, myself, and Bo, we're doing a watch along tonight over in our watch along studio that our friends at Spencer's helped us hook up. And I think I'm going to challenge Johnny to a chugging contest to see how many I can chug before he finishes one. Because I am a world-class chugger, and Johnny is a baby when it comes to chugging. I don't think he could. I don't even think he could chug when he had a baby bottle. Johnny is not capable of chugging, and I will dominate him. And if this game gets ugly, we may get ugly in terms of chugging. Shaft, always a pleasure. Thanks for being here. I saw you there saying hi. Let us know. I want to know in the comments who wins tonight's game and by how many. Cardinals have not won at home since 2020 against the Seahawks. That was a high-scoring affair. I want to know who you think wins, by how many tonight. And again, hit me with those Johnny chugging emojis. On the other side of the break, I'm going to reveal which person, very powerful in the state, kind of threatened to sue me yesterday. All that, much more, coming up on Southwest Bias. Circle K, told you about it off the top, but it is fuel day out there at Circle K. And just because you're an Inner Circle member, you're going to get taken care of. You're going to get taken care of with 40 cents off per gallon today. You show up, you put in your phone number. If you've signed up, you're getting 40 cents off per gallon. I saved a lot of scratch this morning just stopping there and fueling up. Also fueled up with my Coke Zero. You know I need that sweet, sweet nectar of the gods, and you can get it for cheap there as well. If you want a Polar Pop, 79 cents. You into Frosters? You like a little colder beverage in the morning? They got that. 99 cents for you. They take care of you. And right now, too, they've got those 20-ounce, I believe it's 20-ounce Coke bottles, 2 for $3 right now. So buy 2, get 1 free. It is a heck of a deal. So get out there, become an Inner Circle member, start saving money on your fuel today, 40 cents today, and then on a regular 25 cents off per gallon for your first 5 fill-ups, then 3 cents off. Then you're going to hit that ESPO level. You're getting 5 cents off. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Download that Circle K app today and become a member of the Inner Circle. And our friends at Branded Bills, baby. Custom hats, custom apparel. I was talking about the Cardinals trying to look good out there in their new uniforms, talking about the importance of style. Well, guess what? If you want to be stylish, our friends at Branded Bills have you covered. There's no better hats than these. I wear one every day on the show. You see it on the desk. I probably have about 15 or 20 of them now in my collection. And I only wear them, even on the weekends, not just when I'm on camera. I live in a Branded Bills hat. And if mortgage rates keep going up, I may literally live in a Branded Bills hat. But right now, you can get these great hats at a discount. I said to them, we need a discount for the bias. They said, how about 10? I said, no. How about 15? And they said, we were going to give you 15 anyways. You didn't need to negotiate with us, Espo. You're just making this up now. So use that promo code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. Click the link in our description or go to brandedbills.com. It's that easy. So yeah, I teased it before the break, and I did get threatened to be sued by a very powerful man yesterday. I don't think I had Shane clip this because oh, did you? Well, then let's just show the tape of this. It was a little interesting.
Obviously, I saw there's lawsuits and people like to report on lawsuits. As you guys know, anyone can file a lawsuit on any day they want. For any reason they want, I could file a lawsuit for that question, right?
I said right after it instinctually, not even thinking about that I was sitting there, please don't. I know he was joking, and Matt Ishbia having some fun with a tough situation there. But I have not gotten as many text messages and DMs about something as that. I did let Mr. Ishbia know that I have terrible legal representation named Shane Diefenbach, so I would lose any legal battles, so we don't plan on getting into any. But that was a taste of the beginning of Media Day for me. But the Suns Media Day was enlightening yesterday for me. You look at a team that there are very few expectations, all sorts of questions, kind of the polar opposite of what we've had from the Cardinals this year. High expectations. Going in, you didn't think there was as many question marks as maybe as appeared, but there was pressure, expectations to win the division. Some people saying, could they be good enough to compete for an NFC title? The Suns are in that polar opposite, and you didn't know what to expect. They cleaned the deck this summer. all new people, new guys we were talking to for the first time. And, a lot of joking about alignment through the summer, myself included, how we made a shirt about it. But when you listen to everybody talk during media day, you did see an alignment, a type of mentality that everybody's going in to the year with. And, Shane made it clear the other day that he's not ready to get hurt again because he's bought into media days. I believe the same thing. And I'm not telling you that this team is going to be world beaters, but I will say that there's a different focus and approach. And Devin Booker talked about his specific focus and approach at media day.
I'm trying to keep it in-house, man. We're trying to just stack days. We understand we're a young team, but we're going to make some mistakes. But, I think the quicker we minimize those mistakes and making the same mistakes, we'll let our full potential be what it can be with the talent that we have, with the youth that we have. I'd say just being a professional, no matter what's going on, and obviously those early years weren't the prettiest either. Just still sticking with it, not getting caught up in whatever it is, if it's media, if it's whatever's going on in the locker room. Like, you just have to continue to get better. And there was a lot going on early in my career, but, I was able to keep the main thing, keep it tunnel vision and, continue to work. And although we didn't get it done in 21, I was able to see it go from the bottom to, almost the top. And, it wasn't easy, but just understanding that it's an everyday grind and it starts right now.
I think the questions about his voice last year are a little unfair. We have no clue what it was like in the locker room, but it was a lost season. This is now Devin Booker's team. And I found it interesting that second question I asked him about how PJ Tucker and Tyson Chandler, when he walked in as an 18-year-old, helped him and what he took from that so he can help these young guys. And to me, that's the key here. How does Devin Booker help these guys mature and quickly? How does he help guide these guys? And I think he's been through so much, he's seen it all, that he's in a perfect position to do that. Now, he's got to go out and prove it. This whole team does. But that's the mentality that this team's going with. We're locked in. We're going to work. And that is the way they're focusing. And a big question in the offseason that we talked about as well is, how can Devin Booker and Jalen Green exist in the backcourt? One of the best quotes that I heard in the entire day was Jordan Ott when he had to say this about how you craft an offense for those two guys and the point guard position in the NBA.
I just think the game has changed. It's changed overall. We all see it. What the traditional point guard looked like 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, is drastically different than what it is today. I think when you scouting or you turn on the TV and you watch every night, the size of the playmaker or the initiator of the offense is different every night. Some guys are 7 feet tall initiating the offense, and some are your, smaller, 6'4", 6'7". The sizes are all over the place. Part of the offense is we want to play fast. In order to play fast, you need to have multiple ball handlers. The other part of the offense is we're going to play fast and play in concepts, so we have to have solutions on whatever coverage is being played against us. And some nights on how they're going to play Jalen and Book, it may entail someone else creating that first domino or that first advantage. So the game has shifted. I think we're extremely lucky to have some depth in that guard position. I'm interested to see how it does play out in the preseason, but it's also our job as coaches to fit the play style and what we do offensively around the guys that we have. And for that, we're lucky. We're very lucky that we do have multiple ball handlers. It's going to put some of those guys in a position that they haven't been in, and that part is exciting. And we're all going to try to find solutions that best fits us to win that night.
That right there is why I have hope in the Phoenix Suns. Jordan Ott is a guy that obviously is thinking about the new age of basketball, a guy that is developing systems, a thing that I don't believe we've had offensively over the last 2 years. Heck, I feel like the Suns have had head coaches that have Drew Petzing syndrome, where they were just doing the bare, the bland offensive approaches to things with not enough movement and not getting guys the ball where they need to have it. Jordan Ott's not going to fall into that, and that's why I'm buying into how they're going to set up this backcourt, because it's going to be about how the offense is built, not who's bringing the ball up. And I think that quote was one of the most telling of the entire day, because you heard Jordan Ott talk about his basketball philosophy and going in depth. It was a true answer about the way basketball should be played in his mind, and that gave me faith and hope that they'll be able to pull this off. The other moment, and there were a lot, and we can talk more about this tomorrow and as we go through training camp with the Suns, but there was one other moment that stood out to me when it came to the Suns' new mentality and the Suns' new approach. And it was Nigel Hayes-Davis, a guy who had a chance in the NBA, had to go over to Europe, performed well, and is finally getting an opportunity to come back. And he walked out, and this was towards the end of media day. And there were maybe 7 or 8 of us left in the media seating to ask questions. And he walked up the stairs. He looked out at the crowd. He walked back down the stairs, got his phone from a PR person, walked back up, took a picture of us, and then said, where you could kind of hear him, "I'm going to use this as motivation." Because there's a sense of disrespect, a sense of nobody cared to talk to me, but I'm going to prove people wrong. He has an edge. He has a preparation. He talked about all that. And that's the Suns mentality. We're going to come in, we're going to do the work, and we're going to try to prove people wrong. You can see what Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia have talked about in the mentality and the type of person that they wanted. You could see it throughout every guy that came up on that podium in media day and what they talked about. It was a business-like demeanor. If you were looking for fun and craziness, you weren't getting that. This was a group that was locked in. Devin Booker talking about how he has unfinished business. This entire team talking about how they have something to prove. Jalen Green saying that they're going to beat a lot of people's expectations. They're going to surprise a lot of people. That's the mindset. That's who the Phoenix Suns are. We'll talk more about it tomorrow and into next week as training camp starts. Cardinals tonight, watch along after the Cardinals PHNX Cardinals pregame show. The pregame show will start at 4:45, 30 minutes before kickoff. The watch along will go throughout the game. Myself, Johnny Venerable, Bo Brock. We're going to be talking Cardinals football throughout the game. And of course, Johnny and Bo got you at halftime and postgame. So get ready. It is going to be an exciting evening in the Valley as the Cardinals debut their rivalry uniforms, and they try to beat the Seahawks and gain control of the NFC West. So join us for that. Big thanks to the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach. You can follow him at Shane Dief. You can follow the program at PHNX_sports, and you can follow me at Espo. And remember, just because you look good doesn't mean you don't have to play good still. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.